My talk today is going to give you a little bit of an insight into an advanced use case for one of our clients, which is what brought us to ERPNext. But before I get started, I really just want to say a very heartfelt thank you to the Prop 8 team and to the entire community for the amazing work that you guys have been doing. I've been a entrepreneur for a long time, and we're going to talk a little bit about taking ERPNext forward. And the way that I see this right now is I've been building companies for 30 years now. I started my first company about 30 years ago. And having been in tech for a long time, I've seen a lot of projects, as all of you, I'm sure, have. And I think we're all impressed with the work that's being done here. And that's why we're all here. And I'm just really feel grateful to be able to give our little contribution back to the community, and looking forward to doing a whole lot more. So you've heard a little bit about this today. The promise of ERP systems is that companies can go from something like this to the magical this. And that's what everybody wants, right? But the challenge that we face as service providers is we go and we want to, like our previous speaker, you go in and you talk to the possible client, and you're the tailor, right? Your job is to make suits, and the client says, "Hey, can you build me a suit, make me a suit to my specifications, make it look the way that I want?" And the guy says, "Absolutely, we do everything custom, we do it exactly your specifications." And then the client says, "Great, I want a suit of armor." "Sure, we can do that." Then you're on the discuss forum, and you're like, "Anybody know metalworking?" And anyway, so in this particular case, when we jumped in with ERPNext, we had been looking for a solution for a client who was in that situation where they have QuickBooks, and they had UberCart, and they had Drupal for running their website, and they spent $200,000 on some apparently fine consultants who convinced them that Salesforce.com would be a great inventory management tool. They are still managing their inventory in Excel. However, they met us, and we said, "We can build your suit of armor. Now we just need to go find a metalsmith," and we found ERPNext. Here's where some of our goals, the things that we wanted to do, and hopefully some of these are things that you guys also would like to do. We needed the shopping cart to be a more robust shopping cart system. So it's one of the things we had to focus on right away. We needed real-time shipping rates. We wanted kind of the modern checkout, the one-page checkout where you're not, going between a bunch of pages and things. We needed to have guest users. We needed people not to have an account to be able to create a sales quote. We needed people to be able to be guest users, but then take that and turn them into a real user if they wanted to check out. We needed to change the display layer. Actually, I've probably talked, since I've been here, I think I've talked to at least 6 or 7 of you who have expressed, "Wow, I really wish it was easier to change the way this looked or the way that looked," and we had the same issue. And then we also wanted to manage some very complex 3D visualizations and have them generated out of ERPNext. So it was a pretty tall order. I'm not going to have the time today to get through all of these pieces, but I wanted to point out one contribution that we've been able to make back to the core. And this is a little thing that we did to, we have this incredible hook system. It took us a little while to figure it out. But once we did, we came up with a patch, another hook that's in hooks.py that actually allows you to take over the page controllers themselves. So in the past, we weren't able to intercept the data, massage it before it got to the page that was to be rendered to the template. And so now we have this great little thing. And if you call this method, which is there for everybody to use right now, you can do some of the things that I'm going to show you today. So this is, you're never going to be able to read this, but I'll kind of give you an idea of what it does. All these little white boxes that you see are things that before could not be done with ERPNext, and we've been able to do those things now. We have a project. If you go on Discuss, we've started a thread for a project that we call Awesome Cart, and that is the new shopping cart system, and soon we'll be giving it to the community. But it handles a lot of things that I talked about earlier. So this particular client, I'm going to tell you about them. They're a client that makes a very specialized in-ear monitor for people like Lady Gaga and Eminem and Justin Bieber and all these famous singers. They're the #1 manufacturer of this type of thing in the world, but they wanted to be able to impress their clients over the current website that they have. I won't go into that. So anyway, we wanted to give them the beautiful website that they wanted and needed as a world-class company. And so you can see this is a product page layout. This product page layout is obviously not standard in ERPNext, but you can do this now, by the way, with this new patch that we did. And it even does things like it pulls the items from the back end of ERP, and you'll see down here at the bottom there's kind of 2 buttons. One says Custom Fit and one says Universal Fit. So the reason that these famous people like Britney Spears buy these from these guys is they quite literally take a mold of her ear, and then they make this piece that fits only her ear, and then they put all the electronics inside of it. But they also sell them to people that are just audiophiles. Maybe they don't need that level of customization, so they can buy a Universal Fit, which is a different product, but the guts of the product are the same. The only thing that changes is the shell, the connector. So we needed to deal with that. And then when you pick something like that, it actually goes into this shopping cart. This is an ERPNext shopping cart. So up the top here, you'll see this image. That's what these things look like when you stick them in your ear. There's some selections over there to the right, and it allows the user, the web user, to create a completely custom product, submit it to the back end, but it's also smart enough to pick up all of the stuff that you could put into your ERPNext items. So it knows variants. It knows if you choose a carbon fiber shell as the material, it does a upcharge for that. If you choose an extra 4-pin connector, it does all those things for you. So the other thing that we needed to do is we needed to take over control of the checkout page itself, because of all these complex customizations, we couldn't show 50 customizations in the shopping cart, because each one of these had to be items or variants. And so this is the way that the new shopping cart lays out. The other thing I'd like to point out to you is we were working on another challenge. Rashab had mentioned earlier, there's a little bit of people probably like the address doc type to work a little bit differently. And we did too. One of the things we also wanted to do was have people be able to store, just like you would on Amazon, your shipping addresses or billing addresses, and not have to retype them in every time. And if you use different credit cards, not have to type them in it every time. And our client needed multiple payment gateways, so we kind of built all those in too. Again, a new contribution that will be coming soon. But that's what that looks like. Now, these are some of the contributions coming, and can we switch this over? And so this wasn't really planned as part of my talk, but they asked me to actually give you a brief live demo of what it looks like. So I'm going to do that right now. If our conference manager is able to get this to work. Looking good. All right. Look, that's pretty good. I'm just going to sit down here. I hear they do yoga in this country. This is lotus position or something? I don't know. Okay. So somehow we got into the, I think because of the screen resolution, we got into the mobile view, which is going to be a bummer if it's going to have to be in the mobile view. Yeah, maybe. And by the way, I don't know if you could tell, but as I started to scroll, that's a full HTML5 parallax scrolling website, like you would want to see in a modern website design. Look at that. Round of applause for the conference manager. Okay, so here we're using, and by the way, or I should say, reusing the things that the Frappe team already built. I mean, there's this great slideshow. That's one of the most common things that people see on websites. We just tweaked it a little bit, and as you scroll, you'll see some really cool effects. See some of these kind of parallax effects. You guys see all that stuff? And by the way, it works. So you click on it. Now, one of the things that our client does is, is there any way to turn these lights down so they can see this real quick? Anybody? No? Maybe? Maybe not? Anyway, what this is showing, it's kind of a little bit hard to see, but they have so many, probably 90% of the celebrities in the world use this company to make these. So we had this idea for them. We said, hey, why don't we take all your customers and we'll put them into this thing that auto-generates out of the ERPNext database, and it'll run what you were seeing back there. If you can see it, it's hard to see, but anyway, it's all these names, right? And as you scroll over them, if you pick one, it actually comes up with the famous celebrity, in this case Bruno Mars, and an image of his actual custom ears. And what it turns out is, people get all freaky crazy about these celebrities. So when they see Lady Gaga has got these rhinestones, on her earpiece, they want headphones like Lady Gaga. So he said, well, you know what? Why don't we just publish them all for the world to see? And if people want Bruno Mars's ears, they could just buy them. So you could just mouse over and you press this button that says "Get them," and theoretically, it's going to load the designer. So when it loads the designer, it will actually automatically send over all of the attributes of the original custom piece. And this is a fully interactive 3D.js app. This being shot and delivered out of Frappe. Let's change some colors here. I want to make them red. Nah, I don't like red. Rashad, what's your favorite color? Blue? Blue. ERP blue, of course. There you go. Here's some nice blue ones. Actually, you know what, Rashad? You're more like a blue glitter guy. So here we have, you can see, it might be hard to see. Can you guys see the glitter sparkling? But it's actually, this is actually a really cool stuff. So here, let's bring this back. And now let's change the faceplates because, Neil might want orange on one ear, but then he might want some glitter color on the other ear. Or, if you really want to get funky, you can even do things like make it transparent. Watch this. Let's do smoke. And now you can actually, can you see the components inside, guys? Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the idea. And then if you wanted to finish this, you could click Add to Cart and move on with your day. So that's a little bit about what we're doing and what can be done. Thank you. Thank you. What can be done with ERPNext. So the last slide here is some of the stuff that's coming to the community. I was really excited about this trip. This is my very first trip to India, so it's been a blessing to get a chance to come visit this incredible country. And here's some of the stuff that hopefully you're going to see soon from the DigiThinkIt team. We got some patches and documentation that we've been working on. for you guys, the Awesome Cart app itself. We've also been working on normalized data processing for addresses. So if you know the feature with Amazon, when you type in your address for shipping, they say, hey, that looks like this address, which is typed correctly and it's got the right, it's capitalized right. And, would you like to pick that one? And so we're doing that. And all that magic that you saw with the website, we built something that we kind of took a page out of Drupal's book. If you're familiar with Drupal, they have a template called the Zen template. And basically what this does is that it allows a designer who is not a back-end developer to be able to take that, just add CSS and HTML5 to it, and you got this kick-ass database-driven website, which is exactly what I think a lot of us want out of ERPNext. So we built one of those from scratch for ERPNext. So we quite literally had one of our designers build that website instead of our developers. Shipping carrier integration for more real-time shipping quotes, an enhanced warranty management app, and multiple gateways going through Awesome Cart. And I would be totally remiss if I didn't mention part of my team that's here, Katya and George from Kiev, and my partner and co-founder and our lead developer, and the guy that's actually responsible for the vast majority of that magic that you guys saw, Felipe Oriana, who's sitting here with us today. The guy with the really kick-ass long hair. He's a great guitarist, too. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'll be around if anybody wants to ask questions. Oh, and one last thing. We are, part of the service provider part of this discussion, and there's a lot of incredible service providers here. One of the challenges that I'm seeing is that I think, at least for ourselves, we're struggling to find people that already know the system, and we're trying to train people, and we're working with our local university, which I don't know if I mentioned to you, Rashad, but I got the green light. They're going to look at making ERPNext part of the curriculum in 2017 to do exactly what the previous speaker said he wished he had when he was going to college, because I think it's the best way to learn about business, is to, well, build a business online and do it with ERPNext. So that's it. If anybody wants to talk about collaboration, please come see me. Bye-bye.